Okay, so we're entering our 2-4, our fourth section of chapter 2, and we're just wrapping up writing equations of lines. We have the last type of equation for a line. Remember, we have y equals mx plus b, and that's called slope-intercept form. We have ax plus by equals c, and that's called standard form. And then the last one is point-slope form. Point-slope form is y minus some y, some point that you know, equals the slope times x minus the corresponding x point. So if we look at our ski guy over here, and let's see if I can grab him. Alright. So maybe I can't grab him. So when we look at our ski guy over here, and I was trying to find the equation to that line in point-slope form. Point-slope form is actually kind of nice. If I started at this point down here and I worked my way up to this point, I'd go up 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so my rise was 2, and my run was 5. So my slope was 2/5. And then I would just have to know one of the points that was on there. And it looks like I have the point 5, -1. So in my equation, I do y minus -1, or in this case it would be y plus 1 because it's minus -1, and x minus 5. And that would be the point-slope form for that line. Now, we have all those other ways we can do it as well, standard form, but this is just the last one. Okay, let's see if we can get this stuff out of my way. Okay, so writing an equation for a line. Use the slope-intercept form to write an equation of a line. Given slope m and y-intercept b, use the equation y equals mx plus b. That's what we just talked about, so that's easy. Use point-slope form, that's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And use two points given x1, y1, x2, y2. First, find the slope. That's the first thing you need to do. And then you just use one of the points to find the point-slope form. And it doesn't matter which one you use. They both work. Okay? So when we take a look at this here, take a look at this one here. Write an equation of a line that's shown here. Well, they gave me one of the points, and I have to find the slope. And to find the slope, there's a lot of different ways. One of the things I just do is I like to look at a point and then another point that it crosses through, and I look at rise over 1, 2, 3. It went down 3, so -3 over 2. 1, 2. All right, -3 over 2. You can see that the graph has -3 over 2, and the y-intercept happens to be 1. Okay, so in y equals mx plus b, I have -3 over 2 plus 1. That's to find it in slope-intercept form. Okay, we just simply put the -3 halves in there and 1 for b, and we're all set. Oh, I thought this was a good one. I was looking at, I don't know what I was looking up, school jokes or jokes for school, but I ran across this one. It's funny. Not sure if I'm sexy and I know it, or I'm ugly and I ignore it. I thought that was awesome. Very funny. Write an equation of the line that passes through 2, 1 and has a slope 2. It has a slope of 2, and all they want me to do is put it in point-slope form. Well, that's pretty easy. I know that my point is 2, 1, and my slope is 2, so I put 2 in for my slope, put 2 in for my x, and 1 in for my y, and there I go, y minus 1. Now, if I distribute and get it down to, this right here is in point-slope form already. If I wanted to get it to slope-intercept form, Then I'm going to give it a little whoop whoop and have 2x minus 4, y minus 1. And then I'm going to add 1 to the other side. I'm going to get 2x minus 3. Now, if I said to you graph y equals 2x minus 3, 2x minus 3, and I said to you graph y minus 1 equals 2 times x minus 2, you should come up with the same exact line. Alright, example 3. Write an equation of the line that passes through negative 1, 1 and is parallel for A and perpendicular in B to this line. Okay. If two lines are parallel, remember they have to have the same slope. If they're parallel, then they'll have opposite reciprocal slopes. Okay. So the given line has a slope of negative 2. That's right there. I can see that. A line that is parallel to it must also have a slope of negative 2 because they're equal. A line that is perpendicular to it must have a slope of negative or positive 1/2 because it's already negative, so it's opposite of that, reciprocal. See, this number is negative 2 over 1 right now. If I take the opposite and I flip it, I get 1/2. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. In that box, I'm sure I was supposed to write negative 2, and then they were going to explain that whole thing, and eventually they were going to get to 1/2 right here. You use the point slope form with x1 being negative 1 and y1 being 1 to write the equation. Y minus y1, y minus 1, and then A, we're talking about parallel, so this is negative 2, and my x number would be negative 1, so that's like plus 1. And to get it over into point slope form, I'd give it a little whoop whoop, and now I'd have y minus 1 equals negative 2x. See, that's plus 1, so now it's minus 2. And if I add 1 to both sides from here, I get negative 2x minus 1. And that's my equation of a line that is parallel to my original equation. Now I want one that is perpendicular, so that's going to have a slope of 1/2, but it's going to have those same points in it. So it's going to have negative 1 here, and it's going to have positive 1 here. So when I do all that same work, I end up with x plus 1 inside of here, and I give it a whoop whoop. I have y minus 1 equals 1/2 x plus 1/2, and I have x plus 1/2. And then when I add 1, I end up with 1 1/2 right here. 1 plus 1/2 is 1 1/2, and I end up with 1/2 right here. Alright. So what they're trying to get to is that if you get that point slope form, you can convert that over to slope-intercept form. Okay. I thought this one was good too. Aren't there enough problems in the world already? Nah. Oh, that's good. I wonder if you could try that. I don't think you can try that with me. Write an equation for the line 3, 1 and 2, negative 3. Passes through those points. So the first thing you have to... This is the ultimate test of all of this writing equation stuff. I'm going to give you 2 points. You find the equation for it. So if I give you 2 points, you have 3, 1 and 2, negative 3. You're going to do 1 minus negative 3 on the top, y minus y on the top, 3 minus 2 on the bottom, ends up with 4 over 1, or a slope of 4. Okay? So I have my 4 right here. I can pick either number. I'm going to pick the 3, 1 point because they're both positive. So inside here I'm going to have x minus 3. Over here I'm going to have y minus 1. Give it a little whoop whoop action, and I have y minus 1 equals 4x minus 12. 4 times 3 is 12, right? And I add 1, so I end up with y equals 4x minus 11. And that's my equation. You go ahead and try these checkpoints down here. There's 4 of them. And this one on the bottom, this is the creme de la creme. If you want to start with that, if you could find the equation that goes through those 2 points, then you got a really good grasp on what we're doing here. So go ahead and pause and see how you do. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully on this first one here you had y equals 2/3 x minus 3. And I can see right away that the y-intercept was -3, because that's at 0, -3. And then if I went up 2, 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3, 2/3, 2/3 is my slope. That was easy enough. On this one, hopefully you got y equals -2x plus 7, and I hope you put it into the point slope form and converted it to slope-intercept. Number 3, the one that's parallel, well, that definitely was going to have to be y equals 4x plus something or minus something, because it was parallel and it went through that point. Remember, a way to do that is to call this y equals 4x plus b, and then substitute the point that you want. -2 in for the x and 3 in for the y, so you have 3 equals -8 plus b, and when I add 8 to both sides I get 11. So my parallel ends up being 11. My perpendicular, y equals -1/4 x plus b, I do the same exact thing. I put the -2 here, and I put the 3 over here. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm having an answer that's going to be y equals -1/4 x plus or minus something. I know that. So I'm halfway home if I just knew that part. Now I have 3 equals positive 2/4 or a half plus b, and I minus a half, and I end up with 2.5. So I have plus 2.5 as my b. Okay. Now, if I can find the slope of this next one, then I'm golden. Y equals 4/3 x minus 6. If you did not find that, I want you to ask about that tomorrow in class.